Hey, it's Scott from the Production Academy. How's it going? Here in this video today, we're going to talk about the concept of frequency response, which is the inherent effect that any audio device has on an audio signal passing through it. We'll also talk about the weird, quirky little concept of proximity effect, which actually changes the frequency response of a microphone depending on how far away you are from the actual mic. So, to demonstrate these concepts, I'm going to play you a video from our Essential Live Sound Training. Now, if you're not familiar with this training, it's over 100 videos, it's 6+ hours of training covering all the fundamental concepts of live sound, including mixing demos where I actually go through and play some tracks and demonstrate how to get an actual mix together. It's a great resource, and if you're interested in want more information, you can go over to www.theproductionacademy.com and find out more there. So frequency response is most important when we're talking about the transducers in our audio system, which are the microphones and speakers. Now, these devices take one form of energy and transform it into another form of energy. For example, our microphones take acoustic sound waves and transform them into electrical audio signals. Now, theoretically, a microphone would take an acoustic sound wave and make an exact replica into an audio signal that we could use in the rest of our system, but it doesn't really work this way. Microphones are not perfect machines, so they're always going to impart some inherent EQ curve into that signal. So it's actually possible to show the inherent frequency response of a microphone on a graph. And I'll show you an example of that coming up in the video here very soon, but if you wanted to know the frequency response of like an SM57, you could go to the Shure website and actually look at the technical specifications and see the frequency response. Now, these SM57s tend to have a little boost around 3K, which you can see in that graph, and that makes them good for guitars, for a lot of people, for rock and roll guitars, or for other things, and helps make them good live microphones because it helps different instruments pop out in the mix around that frequency. That can also be a bad thing though, but these inherent frequency responses are what gives each microphone their own sonic characteristics. So some microphones sound really open and airy. Sometimes you want a microphone with a lot of low-end frequency response, a lot of low-end boost to capture kick drums or bass guitars or whatever. So just having different microphones sound differently gives us more options to work with as live sound engineers to choose the right microphone for the right job. All right, so here is the video from the Essential Live Sound Training on frequency response. I'll see you right after. Most audio gear won't really change the sound unless you're changing settings. For example, if you have an EQ and you're not boosting or cutting anything, the input and output should sound the same. But some devices by design will have a really distinct effect on the sound. If we actually measure this, we can graph it on a frequency spectrum. This is the inherent effect that any piece of audio gear has on a sound, and it's called the frequency response. So with our EQ that isn't boosting or cutting anything, we'd have a flat frequency response. The signal that comes in will sound the same as the signal going out, which is good. We don't want to change the sound unless we're actually changing the settings. But more than any other type of gear, microphones each have a very distinct frequency response. And that's what gives each microphone its own sonic characteristics. So if you have a microphone that sounds really open and airy, the frequency response could look like this. You can see the boost in the high frequencies. It's like a built-in EQ curve to the microphone. And a lot of condensers have this kind of high frequency bump. Or with a large diaphragm dynamic mic, you want to pick up the low frequencies of stuff like kick drums and bass guitars. So you can see why this kind of frequency response would help us get some extra punch in the low end. So each mic has its own sound, and you can go see the frequency response of any microphone on the manufacturer website. But the frequency response can actually change with how far away you are from the mic. This interesting thing happens when you get really close to the diaphragm. The low frequencies get more pronounced. It gets bassier. So if you're right up on the mic, your voice is going to sound boomier than if you're even a few inches away. This is called proximity effect, and it's the same for all directional mics. And if our normal frequency response looks like this, then this is what it would look like if you were super close to the mic. Of course, this is most important for singers, and good ones will use mic technique to keep the right distance, depending on what they're singing. But if we need to boost the low end on something like a guitar amp, we could move the mic closer to the speaker. It's just something to be aware of as you're deciding where to put the mics on any instrument. All right, there you go. That's our video on frequency response and proximity effect. There is a corresponding blog post that goes along with this video that has some extra diagrams and information. That's over at theproductionacademy.com. You can check out our blog there. There's a ton of stuff, ton of posts about all kinds of things related to live sound. Please check it out. And until next time, until the next video, I hope you're having a great day, and I will see you soon. Bye.